Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Mm, Let's start the new topic, that is mathematical physics. In this section, we have to learn something like algebra, trigonometry, and calculus. So to define the rest of the whole physics, we have to use this whole term later on. So first term is in algebra, you must have learned quadratic equation. If any of the form like ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0, if a is not equals to 0, then we call this particular expression as quadratic equation. So how to solve these type of equations? You have all have learned about this particular equation in class 10th. You may solve this particular expression by middle term splitting or by quadratic formula. First one is by quadratic formula, which is x is equals to minus of b plus minus root under d divided by 2 times of a, where d is called discriminant, which is equals to b square minus 4 times of ac. We call this particular term as discriminant. Now the next method is by using middle term splitting. Middle term splitting. For this, we take product of A and C. Now, taking the product of A and C, we factor them and arrange those factors which equals to this particular middle term, that is B. Now, factor factor of AC and arrange these factors which equals to middle term B. And then we rearrange them to find the unknown part. I think you all have learned this whole part in your previous class. Okay, Abhinav,
Yes, sir.
I'm giving you some problem regarding this.
So should we write this down?
Okay, just start writing. If you remember this whole thing, so don't need to write, just start solving this two equation. Abhinav, have you solved?
Doing, sir, 1 minute.
Okay. Good, Abhinav. Abdullah Mohammed, send your answer. Nada, good, Abhinav. Should I solve? Mohammed Umar, check your calculation. Shahil, you have to solve these two equations. You must have learned quadratic equation in class 10.
Yes, sir.
Mohammed Umar, check your calculation once again. Nida, send your answer. Rehab, try to solve these two equations. Rishan, have you solved?
Sir, going to finish.
Okay. Correct.
Answer.
The second answer is wrong. Just see, we have x squared minus x minus 6 is equals to 0. Okay. So you have to take first coefficient of this particular x square, that would be a, and last term, that is 6. Take product of it, so it will be 6. Now we have to factor this particular 6, so it will be 1 into 6 or 2 into 3. Now check the polarity of this particular constant part. We have negative 6. If it is in negative sign, then we have to rearrange this factor in opposite sign, which equals to this middle part. So if you take these two terms as product or as a factor, it will give you 6 minus 1 means 5, but we have 1 here. So check for this part. 3 minus 2, it will give you 1. Since we have minus 1x, so we can take larger term to be negative and the smaller term to be positive. So we can write x squared minus of 3x plus 2x is equals to 0. Now common from this part and take common from this part. So if we take out x as common from both these two terms, so we're left with x minus 3. Similarly, if we take out 2 as common, so we're left with x minus 3 equals to 0. We have x minus 3 as common from both these two segments. So it will be x plus 2 is equals to 0. If product of any two term is equals to 0, it means either of the two term, first or second, would be 0. So from here, x would be equals to 3, and from here, x would be equals to minus 2. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, try to solve for the next part. We have x squared minus 5x minus 6 is equals to 0. Try to solve. Nida, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Try to solve for this part. Mohammad Umar, your second answer is wrong. Check your calculation. Nida, which of the two factor you'll choose for this part? Just see, we have -6 here. So if constant term would be in negative, so we have to take the factor in opposite sign, which equals to the middle term. So if you take for this part in opposite sign, it will give you 1, -3 plus 2, or -2 plus 3. It will give you nothing but 1. So you have to take this term as factor. Okay, so you can write x square minus 6x plus x minus 6 is equal to 0. Or remember one thing, while you split up the middle term, check whether all of the term would be in pair or not. Just see, in this particular expression, we have 2 positive and 2 negative. So they are in pair form. So it will be correct. So I'll take out common from both parts. Is it clear, Mohammed Umar? Yusuf, do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Good, Nida. In any other quadratic function, quadratic equation, you have to take product of first part, that is coefficient of x squared, and the last constant term. So it will be 1 into 6. So we have 6. Now factor that particular number. So on the base of this particular 6, we would have 2 different factors. First is 1 into 6, and the second one is we can write 2 into 3. Okay, Mohammed Umar? Now, on the base of these 2 factors, just see the polarity of this particular constant term. We have negative sign. If constant term is in negative sign, then arrange the factor of that particular product of A and C in opposite sign, which equals to middle term. This is the rule. So if you arrange in opposite sign to this part, it will give you -3 plus 2 or +3 minus 2. It will give you 1 or -1. But here we have 5. So arrange this particular term. It will give you 6 minus 1 or -6 plus 1. It will give you +5 or -5. That's why I have written this in terms of this. If someone breaks this particular term like x squared minus 2x minus 3x is equals to 0, just check whether the term or the sign is in pair form or they are not in pair. We have 3 term in negative sign and 1 term in positive sign. How we can take common and take pair of any of the term? We can't define it, so it won't be possible. Umar, check your calculation. Take out common from this part and from this part as well. So if we take out x as common, We're left with x minus 6. There is no any term common in these two terms, so we can take 1 as common. Now we have x minus 6 as common from both these two parts. So we're left with x plus 1 is equals to 0. Now equate each term to 0. It will give you x is equals to 6 and x is equals to minus 1. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Just see if you have x square minus 5x minus 6 is equals to 0. If you break your middle term as x square minus 2x minus 3x minus 6 is equals to 0. Check whether this particular term can be paired on the basis of their polarity or not. So we have 3 negative sign and just 1 positive sign. How can pair these these two different terms? For pairing, these all terms must be containing same polarity. All of these terms must be in positive sign or must be in negative sign, or it would be 2 plus or 2 minus term. Is it clear, Muhammad Umar? Polarity is the sign before that particular number. Just for 5x, we have negative polarity or negative sign. For this particular 6, we have negative sign. Whether all term would containing the same sign, whether it would be in positive or whether it would be in negative, or it would be containing in pair form. Okay. Yes, Rishan, tell me your doubt. Is it clear to everyone? Shahel,
Yes, sir.
Yusuf?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just 1 minute. Just see again, Muhammad Umar. Here we have x square minus 5x minus 6 is equals to 0. This term is in positive sign. This term is in negative sign. This term is in negative sign. So we have 2 negative term and 1 positive term. Are they being paired or not? We can't pair them. Okay. So we have to take or split this particular middle term into 2 different polarity. That's why I have break this particular term as x square minus 6x plus x minus 6 is equals to 0. Now from this particular expression, we have 1 negative here, 1 negative here, 2 negative term, 1 positive here, 1 positive here, 2 positive term. So it will be paired. If you are breaking this particular term as x square minus 2x minus 3x minus 6 is equals to 0. Just see how many negative terms are there. Muhammad Umar, just count. If you split this particular minus x in term of -2 and -3, it will give you 3 negative term and just 1 positive term. So it can't be paired. That's why I haven't taken this. So use the concept. If the last term containing negative sign, then this particular middle term would be split in opposite sign. Then you will get 2 positive and 2 negative term. Is it clear, Muhammad Umar? Rishan, is it clear? Okay, good. So we have just defined how to calculate a quadratic equation, or you may use quadratic formula instead. The next part is to define series. You must have learned in your class 10th arithmetic progression. Arithmetic progression. If a sequence increases or decreases by a fixed number, then that particular series is called arithmetic progression. Let's say if you have 2, 5, 8, and so on. If you take the difference of any two consecutive number, 5 minus 2, it will give you 3. 8 minus 5, it will give you 3, and so on. So if common difference, which is equals to a2 minus a1 or a3 minus a2, if these two differences are equal, we can say it will be in arithmetic progression. So we have formula for nth term, which is equals to a plus n minus 1 into d, where a is first term, n is number of term, and d is called common difference. Sum of n term would be n by 2 times 2a n minus 1 into d. There is another series, we call that geometric progression. If you have a number like 2, 4, 8, and so on, if you take the difference of any two consecutive number, let's say 4 minus 2, it will give you 2. 8 minus 4, it will give you 4. Are these two differences equal or not? So you may say no. So in this particular series, the common difference between any two consecutive pair is not the same. So take another term that is called common ratio, which is represented by R, which is equals to A2 divided by A1. So just take the ratio of these two consecutive terms. 4 divided by 2 will give you 2. Similarly, if you take third term divided by second term, that is 8 divided by 4, it will again give you 2. So 4 divided by 2 would be 2. 8 divided by 4 would be 2. Just see this part and this part. Are they equal or not?
Yes, sir.
So we can say if a series having fixed ratio, or we can call it as common ratio, this series is called as geometric progression. In this particular series, if you have to define nth term, it will give you a r to the power n minus 1. If you have to sum up to n term, it will be a r to the power n minus 1 divided by r minus 1. And if you have to take the infinite sum, it will be a divided by 1 minus r. So in physics, we have to use only this part. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Mohammed Umar, any doubt? Shahil Mohammed,
Yes, sir. It's clear.
good. Just write it down. I'm giving you some problem regarding this. It is sign of infinity. Do you have any doubt in this section? Yusuf?
No, sir.
Rishan, any doubt? Good. Have you all written?
Sir, 1 minute. Done, sir.
Okay. Try to solve it. First of all, check whether this particular term is in AP or GP, and on the basis of which, use the formula. Vihab, check your calculation. Good, Abhinav. Vihab, check your answer again. Mohammed Umair, tell me about this particular sequence, whether it is in AP or GP. Good. So what is your first term? And common ratio? For common ratio, you have to divide the former to later term. So it will be A2 divided by A1. Now we have first term as well as common ratio, and we have to take infinite sum. So use S infinity is equals to A divided by 1 minus I. Now put all the values in this particular part and simplify it. Good, Muhammad Umar. Umar, check your calculation. Yusuf, there is a little mistake. Check your calculation again. Riba, send your answer. Nida, good Nida. Good Umar. Good Riba. Shahil, send your answer.
Yes, sir. 1.
Rishan, check your calculation. No. Just see. We have A, which is equals to 5. So it will be in numerator. Divide by 1 minus R, where R is 1 by 5. So 5 will be in numerator. And you have to take LCM of these two parts. So you can write it as 5 divided by 5 minus 1 divided by 5. So it will be 5 in numerator. If we take 5 as LCM, so it will be 5 minus 1, that would be 4. So this particular denominator will move to the numerator. So it will become 25 by 4. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm giving you some relation regarding fraction. Suppose if you have A divided by B and whole divided by C, it means there would be one in denominator of this part. So it will be A divided by B, and we can write C divided by 1. So this one will move to the numerator and this B will move to a denominator. So it will becomes A divided by B times C. This will be your first type of fraction. In next type, it will be A divided by B divided by C. So we may write this particular term as A by 1 divided by B by C. So this C will move to the numerator and this one will move to the denominator. So it will become A times C divided by B. And similarly, if we'll have A by B whole divided by C by D, this D will move to the numerator and this D will move to the denominator. So it will become A times D and B times C. So you'll have mainly 3 different fractions. Is it clear to everyone? This is your first
Yes,
type,
sir.
this is your second type, and this is your third type. Just write it down. Have you already read?
Yes, sir.
1 minute, sir.
Okay. Good, Umar. You may write 1 by 5 as 0.2 and put this particular term here. It will be 1 minus 0.8, 0.2, so it will be 0.8. And then you'll solve, you will get this part or 6.25. Okay, the next part is to define trigonometry. You must have learned some of trigonometry in your class 10th. Let's say if you have a right angle triangle. So if you have theta as here, so the side opposite to that particular theta would be called as perpendicular. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay. So if you have theta to be this part, so the side opposite to that particular theta would be taken as perpendicular, and adjacent of this particular theta would be called as base, and the longest side of this particular right angle triangle would be called as hypotenuse. So trigonometry is nothing but it is defined, or it simply defines you a relationship with respect to this particular theta with respect to these sides. So it will define you the relationship between corresponding theta to rest of its whole sides. So to define that, we have mainly 6 different trigonometric ratios. First, sine theta, cos theta, tan theta, and reciprocal of them. So it will be cosec theta, sec theta, and cot theta. First, sine theta is equals to perpendicular by hypotenuse. So cosec theta would be equals to hypotenuse by perpendicular. Cos theta is equals to base by hypotenuse. So sec theta would be equals to hypotenuse by base. Tan theta is equals to perpendicular by base. So cot theta would be equals to base by perpendicular. The next term is defined identity. First is tan theta, which is equals to sine theta by cos theta. And the next term is cot theta, which is equals to cos theta by sin theta. Next, sine square theta plus cos square theta is equals to 1. Sec square theta minus tan square theta is equals to 1. And cosec square theta minus cot square theta is equals to 1. So this is all which you have learned in your class 10th. Okay. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Should we move or do you want to write?
Yeah, 1 minute. Continue.
The next term is to define their values. Suppose if you have to calculate value of 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, and 90 degree. Just write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, divided by 4 to each term, and take square root of it. So this term will give you the value of sine theta. So sine theta would be equals to 0 by 4 would be equals to 0, 1 by 4, 1 by 2, 2 by 4, or it will be 1 by 2. So if you take square root, it will become 1 by root 2. Similarly, this will become root 3 by 2, and this will become 1. For cos theta, just reverse this particular sequence. So here we have 1, so it will be 1. Here we have root 3 by 2, so it will be root 3 by 2. It will be 1 by root 2, 1 by 2, and 0. Third part is to define tan theta. Tan theta is nothing but the ratio of sine theta and cos theta. So just divide these two values. So it will be 0. It will be 1 by root 3. It will be 1. It will be root 3. And 1 by 0 is nothing but infinite. We have learned this particular term as not defined till class 10. But in this class, it will define nothing but infinity. Now on this basis, you can easily find cosec theta, sec theta, and cot theta as well. Is it clear to everyone? Just write it down. Tan theta is nothing but the ratio of sine theta and cos theta. That's why I divided these two terms. 0 by 1 will give you 0. 1 by 2, root 3 by 2, 2 and 2 gets cancelled out. So we'll have then 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 cancel out. So we'll give you just 1. Similarly, this part and this part as well. In the last part, we have 1 by 0. So it will give you infinite. Have you all done till this part?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ishan? Mohammed Umar? Done?
Yes.
Now, how to define rest of the whole values like sine 120 degrees, sine 150 degree, cos 210 degree, and so on. So to define that, I'm giving one concept. Let's say if we draw a triangle in first quadrant, let's say in this part. Let's say this is your theta. This is your positive x-axis and this is your positive y-axis. So this will be your base along positive x-axis, so it will be positive. Perpendicular along positive y-axis, so it will be positive. And hypotenuse is sum of square of base and perpendicular, so it will be always positive. So if a triangle is forming between 0 to 90 degree, then all trigonometric values for all trigonometric ratios would be positive. So we can write all are positive in this first quadrant. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, if you have a triangle in second quadrant, let's say let this particular angle to be theta. So we have base towards negative x-axis, so we can call negative b. Perpendicular is along positive y-axis, so it will be positive. And hypotenuse is nothing but square of sum of base and perpendicular, so it will be always positive. So just see in this particular triangle, here we have positive perpendicular and positive hypotenuse, but negative base. So if a trigonometric ratio would be defining on the basis of perpendicular and hypotenuse, it will give you positive value, and rest of the whole term containing base would give you negative value. So we can say sine theta and cosec theta would be positive in this particular quadrant. Similarly, in third quadrant, tan theta and quad theta would give you positive value. Rest of the whole term would be negative. And in fourth quadrant, cos theta and its reciprocal sec theta would be positive. Rest of the whole term would be negative. Is it clear? Nida, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how to remember this particular thing? You may, after school to college, you may remember this part. First is A, means all. S is sine or its reciprocal. E is tan or its reciprocal. C is cos and its reciprocal. So this will be defining in first quadrant. This will be for second quadrant. This will be third quadrant, and this will be for fourth quadrant. Yes, Muhammad Umar, what do you want to explain? Just see, in this particular diagram, if I have drawn a triangle in this particular first quadrant, so all of these three measurements would be in positive. Base is along positive x-axis, so it will be positive. Perpendicular is in positive y-axis, so it will be positive. And hypotenuse is nothing but square of sum of base square and perpendicular, so it will be always positive. Since this particular triangle have all of its side is in positive, so it will give you all trigonometric ratios in positive value. Okay. Similarly, if you draw a triangle in this quadrant, just see we have negative base as it is going towards negative x-axis. So the ratio containing perpendicular and hypotenuse will give you positive value, rest of the whole term would be negative. Similarly, if you draw a triangle in this part, these two terms will give you positive, rest of the whole term would be negative, and similarly for this part as well. Okay, Mohammed Umar? Rishan, do you have any doubt? Yusuf, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the next part is to define how to convert angle. Let's say if you have I'm defining on the basis of angle. Let's say this is your 0 degree, 90 degree, 180 degree, 270 degree, and this will again be 360 degree. So try to define all of the angle on the basis of this particular horizontal line. If you move in anti-clockwise direction, it will give you positive value. So we can write plus theta, or we may write it as 360 degree plus theta. But if you move in clockwise direction, it will give you negative value. So it will be 360 degree minus theta. So by notation, if you travel along anti-clockwise direction, angle will be positive, and if you move along clockwise direction, angle will be negative. Similarly, if you move along anti-clockwise, it will be 180 degree plus theta. But if you move along clockwise direction, it will give you 180 degree minus theta. So on the base of this horizontal line, I have drawn angle for each different coordinate or quadrant. So there is one rule on horizontal line. It means if you are calculating with respect to 180 degree or with respect to 360 degree, we treat this particular angle as horizontal line. So there would be no change in trigonometric function. It will remain same. So what do you mean by this? I'm defining it. Is it clear till this part?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just write it down. Ishan, have you written? Muhammad Umar, done. Have you written? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Suppose if you have to calculate cos 120 degree. So how will convert this particular angle or value? How will find this particular term in terms of values? First of all, try to write this particular angle in respect of 180 degree or 360 degree. So we can write this particular term as cos 180 degree minus 60 degree. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now just see, we have this particular first part. Is defining you nothing but the line on which we are calculating. So this will tell you horizontal line. As we learned last part, on horizontal line, there would be no change in trigonometric term. It means this particular cos would be remain cos. So this particular angle will be written here. Now, try to check in which quadrant this particular angle would lie. Yusuf, tell me in which quadrant it will lie.
The third.
Yes, Yusuf. In which quadrant this particular value would lie?
Insert
So-
first.
In first, the angle would be 0 to 90 degree. In second quadrant, it would be 90 degree to 180 degree. So it must be lying in second quadrant. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now check whether cos is in positive or negative in second quadrant. In second quadrant, only sine theta and its reciprocal, that is cosec theta, will be positive. The rest of the whole term would be negative. So we can write a negative sign in place of it. So it will be minus cos of 60 degrees equals to 1 by 2. So it will become minus 1 by 2. Is it clear to everyone?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, how did we get to know that it will be cos 60 degree? Can you explain that part again?
First of all, write this particular term in terms of or with respect to 180 degree or 360 degree. That's why I have written this particular term like 180 degree minus 60 degree. Okay.
Yes,
This
sir.
is your first part. Now, this particular 180 degree will define you nothing but whether it is a horizontal line and vertical line. So it will define you that part only. Now, what we left with? Just 60 degree. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it will become cos of 60 degree. Ignore this particular term, whether it would be positive or negative, just leave it. So it will be cos of 60 degree. Now, try to define in which quadrant this particular value would lie, whether it will be first quadrant, second quadrant, third or fourth. So it must be lying in second quadrant. So on the basis of this particular angle, check whether this particular trigonometric function or trigonometric ratio would be positive or negative in that given quadrant. Since 120 degrees in second quadrant, or it must be lying in second quadrant, and cos theta would be negative in second quadrant. That's why I have put negative sign. Is it clear, Abhinav?
Yes, sir.
Now, cos of 60 degree is nothing but 1 by 2. So it will become minus of 1 by 2. Is it clear to everyone? Eriba,
Yes, sir.
Rishan, just write it down and try to solve. Shahil, any doubt?
No, sir.
Good. So let's just see, we have cos of 60 degree here, and we have put a negative sign due to this particular angle, since it is lying in second quadrant, and in second quadrant, cos theta would be in negative, as only sine theta and cosec theta would be positive in second quadrant. That's why I have written negative sign in front of it. Okay, Umar? Good. Try to solve these three questions. Good, Yusuf. Mohammad Umar, check the sign. Good, Nida. Mohammad Umar, check again. No. Good, Shahil. Good, Rishan. Just use this table to define its values. Yes, you may write your answer in fraction. Good, Abhinav. Good, Shahil. Shahil, check the sign. Yusuf, check your calculation. Rishant, since you have written sine of 30 degree, so its value would be nothing but half. Okay, so you have to answer like this. Good, Abhinav. Good, Nida. Yusuf, check the polarity. Mohammad Umar, check the polarity. Means sign of that particular number. Yes. Good, Yusuf. Just see how to solve this. We have check the sign. For this particular term, you may write it as sine of 180 degree minus 30 degree. So this is 180 degree. It will define you nothing but horizontal line. So leave it on horizontal line. There will be no change in trigonometric ratio. So just write sine of 30 degree. Since this particular term is lying in second quadrant and sine theta will be positive in second quadrant, so we can write plus. So it will be plus half. Similarly, for this term, you can write cos 180 degree plus 30 degree. So it will be lying in third quadrant where cos would be negative. So we can write minus.
So the
180
first one is
degree.
on horizontal line.
Yes.
The first one is on horizontal line.
Yeah. Since I have written 180 degree minus 30 degree. So 180 degree will define you horizontal line. Okay.
So
And on
it's-
horizontal line, there will be no change in trigonometric ratio. So it will be remains same. So you can write 30 degree and sine of 30 degree is equals to root 3 by 2. And there is negative sign since this particular angle would be lying in third quadrant. Umar, I have told you to define all of each angle with respect to horizontal line only. So why you have taken with respect to vertical line? Third part is tan of 180 degree minus 45 degree. So 180 degree will define you horizontal line. So it will be tan 45. And since this particular angle would lie in second quadrant, so it will become minus of tan 45. So it will be -1. Rishan, why you have written in terms of 150 degree? According to the rule, you have to break that particular angle with respect to 180 degree or with respect to 360 degree only. Okay. Only these two values will define your horizontal line. Okay, Rishan. Okay, just see. Since our values is between 0 to 90 only. So you have to take the difference such that the difference part would lie in this part only. Okay. So you have to take the difference up to nearest horizontal line only. Is it clear to everyone? Yusuf?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Good. Muhammad Umar?
Mr. Clear.
Good. The next term in this particular trigonometry is to define sum or difference of angle. Let's say if you have sine A plus B, it will be sine A cos B plus cos A times sine B. Similarly, if you take sine A minus B, it will give you sine A cos B minus cos A sine B. Now, from this formula, if A is equals to B is equals to theta, so we can write in this form as sine of 2 theta, so it will becomes 2 times theta into cos theta. Now just see, we have sine 2 theta here, and in this part we have theta and theta only. So from this we can write, if you have only sine theta, then it will become 2 times sine theta by 2 and cos theta by 2. Just remember this whole formula. Similarly, if you have cos of A plus B, so it will be cos A cos B minus sine A sine B. If you have cos A minus B, it will give you cos A cos B plus sine A into sine B. Now, if suppose A is equals to B is equals to theta in this part, so it will become cos of 2 theta. So it will become cos into cos, cos square theta, and sine to sine, sine square theta. Now, if you break this particular term into two parts, first, only in terms of cos, so we may write it as cos 2 theta is equals to 2 times cos square theta minus 1. If you move this particular minus 1 to the other side, it will become 2 times cos square theta is equals to 1 plus cos 2 theta. Just see, if you have 2 theta, then you will get theta here. So if you put theta by 2 here, you will get theta only. So similarly, you can write cos square theta by 2. It will give you 1 plus cos theta only. I'll define only in terms of cos only. If, similarly, if you break this particular term in terms of sine only, it will give you cos 2 theta is equals to 1 minus 2 times sine square theta, or you may write it as 2 sine square theta is equals to 1 minus cos 2 theta, or if you are taking for half angle, it will be 1 minus cos theta. So just remember this whole part, this part, and this part as well. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just write it down. Have you all written?
1 minute, sir.
Vishan, done? Mohammed Ahmed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Try to find sine of 75 degree. You may write this particular term as sine 45 degree plus 30 degree. So this will be your A and this will be your B. Just expand according to the formula and simplify it. Done.
Yes, sir.
Good, Abhinav. Rest of you, please send your answer.
Yes, sir. 1 minute.
Just see if you break this particular part using the formula which I have used, which I have defined you. This part. Sine of A plus B would be equals to sine A cos B plus cos A sine B. So it will be sine A times cos B plus cos A times sine B. Now put all the values and simplify it. Mohammad Umar, check your calculation. Check your calculation again. Nida, send me your answer. Reba, Rehab, Umar,
Yes.
send me your answer. Good, Yusuf. Rehab, check your calculation. The maximum value of sine would be just +1. Sine of 45 degree would be equals to 1 by √2 multiplied by cos 30 degree, which is equals to √3 by 2, plus cos 45 degree is 1 by √2 multiplied by sine 30 degree, which is equals to 1 by 2. So this fraction would become √3 by 2 √2 plus 1 by 2 √2. Now just see, we have same denominator for both parts. So we can write √3 plus 1 divided by 2 √3. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Rishan, is it clear? Nida?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have to simply expand this particular formula and put all the respective values and simplify it. That's it. There is one more term regarding this. First of all, write it down. Okay. You may write this particular answer as bracket √3 plus 1 divided by 2 times √2. Okay. Do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Have you all written?
Yes, sir.
There is one more part. If theta is very small, then sine theta tan theta equals to theta only, in which theta would be measured in terms of radian. So what do you mean by this particular part? Let's say if you have to calculate sine of 5 degree. So this particular angle is very small, or we may take this particular theta to be very small as less than 30 degree, or we may take, for sine it is valid up to 30 degree, but for terms of tan it is valid for only 10 degree. So you may take less than 10 degree. Okay. Suppose if you have to calculate sine of 5 degree, we can't find this particular value using this sum or difference formula or any of the tables which we have used here. Okay. So how to define it? So yes, just use this concept. It tells you if theta is very small as less than 10 degree, so we can write this particular sine theta as theta itself, but theta would be measured in terms of radian. So we can write 5, but we have to convert this particular value in terms of radian. So there was a formula which I have learned in our last class. 1 degree is equals to 1.74 into 10 to the power minus 2 radian. 1 minute was 2.91 into 10 to the power minus 4 radian. And 1 second is equals to 4.85 into 10 to the power minus 6 radian. I think we have done this in last class.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, on this basis, if you want to convert this particular angle in terms of radian, since it is in degree, so just multiply this whole term by this part. So you get 1.74 into 10 to the power minus 2. So it will become 5 into 4, 20, 17 into 5, 85 plus 2, 87. We have, so it will be 8.7, and we have 2 places back, so it will be 0.087. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just write it down. Have you all done till this part?
Yes, sir.
Riba, do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Rishan? Okay, so this is all about this whole trigonometric part. We have done algebra and trigonometry and series as well. In next class, I will define you calculus, in which we will start differentiation. Okay. So do you have any doubt from today's class to anyone of you?
No,
Vedant?
sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So just try to revise this whole part and memorize the whole values which we have discussed here. We'll meet in next class. Okay then. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a Thank you, sir. Have a good night.